Hey, what's up? Well, here we are, start of another video, and I kind of jumped ahead of you guys a little bit. I got a little anxious the other day, and as you can see, I kind of made a little progress without you. I got a little antsy out here, and I went ahead and I blew the whole front end out of this thing. I ended up just lighting up the hot wrench, and I cut the whole front end out of this thing, and made a pretty quick progress with it, and never even touched the phone to record anything because it went pretty quick. But let me show you here what I ended up getting done. So like I said, to make things super easy, I just lit up the torches, and what I ended up doing was, well, with the torches and the Sawzall, I ended up just cut the radius arms there, relieve that. I unbolted the steering from the pitman arm, torched off the other radius arm there, and then I ended up just cutting the shocks at the top, cut that one there, and at that point basically the whole front end just drops right out. Then basically just unbolt the axle beams, unbolt that one, the other one from the other side there, and the whole front end's out of the truck. That's it. Just basically slide it out and roll it out the door, and it's out of here. So now basically today I'm left with just unbolting the stock drop brackets from the frame here. It's got a couple bolts there, this one over here, riveted. I got some rivets to cut there. These stock coil buckets, these things are hammered. They're just rust. They're cracked, which they super common. They just collect crap just over the years, just dirt, moisture, just all settles inside here. They rust and they end up cracking. So I got I think there's 4 rivets that hold those to the frame. I'm gonna grind those off, hammer those through. Excuse me. Get those coil buckets off both sides. So those will be off today. The brackets that hold the axle beams on, those will come off. Then also the stock radius arm cross member, that goes bye-bye today. And then basically just prep the frame rails, get everything all cleaned up, just do some rust repair, just knock that all off. Then I'll do the same thing with this rust reformer, clean it all up, some fresh paint, and then I'll prep everything for all the James Duff brackets, the heavy-duty coil buckets, the drop brackets for the lift, and then I can start bolting all that stuff on, get the original 2 9-inch mounts off, prep everything for the James Duff V8 motor mounts. I'm gonna do a little bit more in-depth. My last videos on Gilligan, I kind of showed after the fact on how I mounted those up and where I drilled the holes and whatnot. I'm gonna try to do a little better before the motor goes in, show where the holes go for that and how I did all that stuff. So I've had a couple people ask for a little more detailed info on those, so I'm gonna try to do a better job on that. So I'm gonna get going on that stuff today, and hopefully at the end of the day today, this will all be cleaned up, looking a little better. Some James Duff parts on here, and yeah, let's get going on that. And now for the part that sucks. So gotta grind this what's left of that one and this one off, and I believe, yeah, there's one down here, and I think this bolt right here captures this too, so that would have to come off. Then I can rip this whole thing off. So this sucks, no doubt about it. And what I'm going to use for it, use the old angle grinder with a good old flap wheel on it, and I'm just going to grind them down flat, and then I'm going to use a punch and a hammer to hammer them through. Normally I'd use my air hammer to do it, but my air compressor blew up, so I'm going to be doing it the hard way. So let's get going on this here. I know there's going to be 10 people. They're going to have 10 different ways they prefer to do this. This is just the way that I prefer to do it. These flap wheels seem to make pretty quick work of them for me. I really wish my compressor hadn't blown up, but because my air hammer would have made quick work blasting these through. I'm really not looking forward to hammering these through manually, but so yeah, today will be a new experience doing it manually, so I'm having a really good feeling I'm going to be hating life here shortly, but at least these things make pretty quick work of it, so. And just for the record, I am wearing a respirator because man, you really don't want to breathe all this well dust and stuff. I suffer from terrible migraines all the time, and it seems like without fail, man, when I spend a day doing stuff like this out here, breathing this stuff, I always end up with a headache at the end of the day doing this. So do yourself a favor, don't breathe this stuff, man. So anyway, I'll spare you the boring part here. Let me get to work on this, and we'll pick it up here in a minute. All right, boys and girls. So here's the reason why. This is going to be a shameless product plug. You guys all buying these lift kits from these other companies that are just throwing the coils in there with the stock radius arms and stuff, man. These factory coil buckets on these Bronco 2s and Rangers, man, over the years, all that crap sits there between the frame rails and these coil buckets. Yeah. Just, these things are just too old, too deteriorated at this point. These buckets have got to be replaced. You've got to take these things off because that is your frame. Yeah, that's what we're left with behind this. There is the frame rails. All of that on the floor. All that debris, moisture, all that crap settled back there just eats away at the frame. You've got to ditch these things. Throw these things away. Buy something like those nice heavy-duty coil buckets that James Duff sells that replaces these things. So now I'm left with a decision to make on how I'm going to attack this. I've literally spent 5 minutes here thinking about this so far, so quickly in my mind, a couple options I'm thinking. Can cut this out, transfer, these are the rivets that you would hammer through, and on the James Duff coil buckets, those those holes transfer onto the James Duff buckets, and that's what bolts. They bolt to those, and then a couple in the bottom there. I can cut this whole bad section out, put a plate in there, transfer those holes, bolt the James Duff buckets to those. Another possible option I have is actually use the James Duff buckets as my repair piece. Just grind the powder coat off of them, clean them up, and just cut this out and just sink the James Duff buckets right in there, and that will be my repair. So yeah, when I get those pieces in here, I'm gonna have to decide which plan of attack I'm going to use here on repairing that. I'm thinking right now, like I said, I've spent a whole 5 minutes thinking about this so far. But I'm thinking possibly the easiest way might be just to use the James Duff buckets as my repair piece and just weld them, cut out all the bad and just weld James Duff pieces right in there and not even bolt them in. So yeah, we'll see. Plans may change, but that's kind of what I'm thinking now here after spending a couple minutes looking at this. But yeah, man, guys, you gotta look at these things, man. These things are old now. It's a lot of time, a lot of wear, a lot of corrosion. These things have been just eating themselves alive over the decades. So gotta pay attention to this stuff, man. Sad. Okay, I got the James Duff coil buckets in, and they do not actually even cover the rust hole in the frame like I thought they were going to. So these are not going to work as far as being the repair piece in the frame rail like I thought they were. So what I'm going to do is have the actual frame marked out where the coil bucket actually mounts. These are the holes, the rivets, where you would knock these out, and that's where the coil bucket would bolt. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this whole piece of the frame out. I'll cut a new plate for that, weld that in to replace all of this. Then I'll re-drill new holes to mount the coil bucket to that. So that is the new plan. All right, there's the frame with all the bad spot cut out. Actually looks really good. It's gonna make for a nice, easy repair. All right, there is the patch panel. All cut to fit, just kind of taped in place. So now we're gonna burn it in. And there is the welded patch panel. All in and done. Turned out great. It's all solid welded on this side, and I just stitched it on the back side. So that's it. All I gotta do is hold up the new bucket, and I gotta weld or drill the two new holes for the new bucket, and that's it. So it is repaired. All right, I think that's good enough there. Got a good coat of some I don't know what the heck this stuff is. Some I don't know, some Rust-Oleum, some kind of chassis paint on there. So I got all that cleaned up, degreased, frames all painted. That's all done there. So all the TTB frame brackets are off. I still have to get that cross member knocked off yet, and getting rid of that stock location for the fuel filter. I'm going to relocate that farther back on the frame. Pulled the brake booster off so I can finish cleaning up the firewall next. So I got some rot across there. Going to re-seam seal all that after I repair all that, so I don't have any water leakage inside the truck. So I've already got the other half. That's all cleaned up and repaired. And we got some the coil buckets, changing the color on those. Got all the James Duff parts here. And some other progress made today on the truck. Rest of the interior, finally. Got the rest of the interior panels out so we can get this off to the body shop. Get the quarter panels cut off and get the wheel wells fixed. And you can't see down there, but all the spray foam they use to repair the body. Pulled the hatch off the truck. Got that off because I got the new one back. So, made some real good progress today. Real happy. So, with some luck, tomorrow is Thanksgiving 2019. Maybe I'll get a chance to get out here and give this chance all to dry. I'll get some final paint, get the final color on all these parts, and maybe I'll get all the James Duff brackets bolted on the chassis here, and maybe I'll even get a chance to set the motor in or get the Dana 35 rolled underneath here. Still, well, no, I will not get the Dana 35 because I want to do some welding. I want to reinforce the beams on that, and I still need to replace some of the pivot bushings on that, and I won't be able to get those because it's a holiday tomorrow. So yeah, maybe I'll get the motor sat in here. So anyway, good progress. I'm real happy with the frame repair. That little disaster turned out really good. So very happy. So moving on to the moving on to the next disaster. Yeah.